All right, let's talk web hosting. You know, choosing the right one can be a total nightmare. So today, we're going to cut through all that marketing noise. We're doing a deep dive into FastComet, and we're doing it based on a real-world 3-year review from a blogger named Abdullah Prem. Let's jump right in.
So have you ever run a website? If you have, you know the feeling, right? That frustration when your site is just slow, or when it goes down for no reason. And don't even get me started on those sneaky renewal fees. It's the kind of stuff that can seriously hurt your business, annoy your visitors, and honestly just drive you crazy.
Well, that's exactly where our guy, Abdullah Prem, found himself. I mean, he'd spent years bouncing between different hosting companies, just struggling. He was desperately looking for something that, well, that just worked. No fuss, no drama. He needed speed, and he needed it to be reliable. And a story.
So what was the big problem he was facing? It all came down to old tech. A lot of his previous hosts were still using those old-school spinning hard drives, HDDs. And for his site, which was loaded with images for his merchandise, that was a disaster. Pictures took forever to load. And here's the real kicker. It's not just about annoying your visitors. Google actually penalizes slow websites. So his rankings were dropping, and he was literally losing customers because of it.
Okay, so after all that searching, he finally landed on FastComet. What caught his eye was how upfront they were, and they had this whole set of features that looked like they were tailor-made to fix everything he was dealing with. So let's take a look at what he discovered.
First things first, FastComet went straight for the speed problem. Bam! SSD-only servers. Just think of SSDs as the supercharged, modern version of those old clunky hard drives. Everything is just faster. Then, on top of that, they give you a Cloudflare CDN for free. All that really means is they stash copies of your website in servers all over the world. So if someone from, say, Australia visits your site, it loads from a server nearby, making it lightning fast for them. It's a huge deal.
And get this, all of the security stuff you see here, it's all included, for free. You get your SSL certificate, that little padlock in the browser. You get a web firewall to stop hackers. You get powerful spam protection for your email. And they even scan for and remove malware every single day. Seriously, most other hosts would charge you a pretty penny for this kind of security package.
But the peace of mind doesn't stop with security. They also give you free daily backups. So if you ever have one of those oops moments and break your site, you can just restore it. No panic. And this was a huge one for Abdullah, flat renewal pricing. You know how most hosts lure you in with a cheap first year and then jack up the price? Yeah, FastComet doesn't do that. The price you see is the price you pay year after year. No nasty surprises.
All right, so the features sound amazing on paper, right? But the real question is, how does all this stuff actually hold up in the real world? This is where Abdullah's 3 years of testing really gives us the inside scoop.
Okay, just look at this number. 100%. Let that sink in. According to his review, that was his uptime over 3 years of using them. That is, honestly, that's just an insane level of reliability.
So what does that 100% really mean? Well, here's the context. Over 3 full years, running multiple websites, his sites went down exactly once, one time. And that one time, it only lasted for 3 minutes. 3! Then everything was back to normal. This isn't just some number on a sales page. This is what he actually experienced.
Okay, so uptime is rock solid. But what about speed? He ran a GTmetrix test on one of his sites, and check out these scores. An A grade, 97% performance, and the whole page loaded in just 1.2 seconds. But here's the crazy part. This was a totally fresh install. He hadn't added any special plugins or done any fancy tricks to speed it up yet. This is just their raw, out-of-the-box speed. And it's really, really good.
And the last piece of the puzzle is customer support. In 3 years, Abdullah only had to contact them 14 times, which is pretty low. But when he did need help, he just jumped on their instant chat, and he says almost every time his problem was solved in like 1 or 2 minutes. Just think about that. No waiting on hold, no endless back and forth emails, just fast, effective help. That's a game changer.
Okay, so we've seen some seriously impressive performance here. But hey, no review is complete without looking at both sides, right? To be fair and balanced, we need to talk about the pros and the one con that Abdullah pointed out.
So let's do a quick recap of the good stuff. We're talking amazing uptime and speed right out of the gate. Super fast 24/7 support that actually solves your problems. Honest, flat rate pricing, no surprises. All those freebies like daily backups and top-notch security. And of course, a pretty awesome 45-day money-back guarantee.
All right, so what's the catch? Well, according to his review, there's really only one thing. If you're using one of their shared hosting plans, you can't get a dedicated IP address.
So, what on earth is a dedicated IP and why should you care? Well, think of it this way. A dedicated IP is like having your own private street address for your website. A shared IP is like living in an apartment complex. You all share the same main address. Now, having your own house has some very specific, kind of niche benefits. But Abdullah makes it really clear. In 3 years, not having one has caused him 0 problems. No performance issues, nothing. For him, it was less of a real problem and more of a nice-to-have feature that was missing.
Okay, so we've laid it all out. The powerful features, the incredible real-world performance, and that one pretty minor downside. So the big question is FastComet right for you?
Well, based on this whole deep dive, it really seems like FastComet is a perfect fit for a few groups of people. You know, small business owners, bloggers, freelancers, basically anyone who just needs their website to be fast and always online, without it costing a fortune. It's for you if you're just sick and tired of those surprise renewal fees. And yeah, it gives it a special shout out for anyone using WordPress.
Which brings us to one last, very important number, 45.
That's how many days you get with FastComet's money-back guarantee. 45 days to try everything out. If you're not happy for any reason, you get a full refund. That's way longer than most companies offer, and it basically means you can test everything we've talked about today for yourself with 0 risk. So let's end with a simple question for you. Are speed, transparent pricing, and support you can actually count on at the very top of your list? If the answer is yes, then based on this incredible 3-year test, FastComet could very well be the host you've been searching for.